It was just a phone call. Nothing unusual. Until he answered it. Fluent. Calm. Perfect. In a language no one expected. Dutch. The room went silent. Executives stopped talking. Assistants froze. Even the billionaire herself looked up in shock. Because the man speaking wasn't a manager. Wasn't a consultant. He was the janitor. A single father who spent his days cleaning floors. And his nights raising a daughter alone. So how did a man like him speak like that? And why had he been hiding it? But what happened next was even more unexpected. Because after hearing him, the billionaire didn't just thank him. She said something that changed everything. Don't leave. Stay. Stay till the end, because the reason behind her words will reveal a truth far deeper than talent. The office buzzed with urgency. Glass walls reflected movement. Phones rang endlessly. Meetings overlapped. At the center of it all was Elena Varma. A billionaire. Sharp. Focused. Always in control. Today was important. A major international deal. Partners from Europe. High stakes. Everything had to be perfect. But perfection rarely comes easily. The conference room was filled. Executives sat ready. Documents prepared. The call connected. Voices filled the room. Speaking fast. In Dutch. Confusion spread instantly. Where's the translator? Elena asked. He's not picking up, an assistant replied nervously. The conversation continued. And tension grew. Miscommunication. Mistakes. The deal was slipping. We can't afford this, Elena said sharply. Across the room. Someone stood quietly. Rohan. A janitor. A single father. Invisible in a room full of power. He had entered earlier to clean. Stayed unnoticed. But his ears were listening. Every word. Every mistake. He understood everything. But he hesitated. This wasn't his place. He was just a cleaner. But then. One phrase caught his attention. A misunderstanding. A critical one. If it continued, the deal would collapse. Rohan took a step forward. Ma'am, he said quietly. No one listened. He spoke again. I think I can help. This time. Silence. Heads turned. Confusion filled the room. You, someone said. Rohan nodded. Elena studied him. Skeptical. Do you even understand what they're saying? She asked. Rohan didn't answer. Instead, he picked up the phone. And spoke. Fluent. Clear. Confident. In Dutch. The room froze. The voices on the other end paused. Then responded. A conversation began. Smooth. Accurate. Effortless. Rohan translated. Clarified. Resolved misunderstandings. Within minutes. The tension disappeared. The deal was saved. Silence filled the room. Not because of confusion. But because of shock. Elena stared at him. Who are you? She asked. Rohan lowered his gaze. Just someone doing his job, he said. But Elena knew. That wasn't the truth. And when the call ended, she said the words that would change everything. Don't leave. The room slowly emptied. But Elena didn't move. Stay, she repeated. Rohan hesitated. I still have work to finish, he said. No, she replied. You have a story to explain. Silence. Rohan stood there. Unsure. Then finally. He spoke. I studied languages, he said. Elena raised an eyebrow. Studied, she asked. I was a lecturer, he continued. Before, life changed. Something in his voice shifted. What happened? She asked softly. Rohan took a deep breath. My wife got sick, he said. The room felt heavier. Medical bills, treatments, everything, he added. I left my job. Took whatever work I could find. A pause. But it wasn't enough, he said quietly. Elena didn't interrupt. She passed away, he continued. Silence. And after that, I had a daughter to raise, he said. His voice remained calm. But his eyes held everything. So you became a janitor? Elena asked. I became whatever I had to be, he replied. That answer stayed in the air. Because it wasn't about the job. It was about responsibility. Why didn't you tell anyone about your skills? She asked. Rohan smiled faintly. Because no one asked, he said. Silence. That truth hit deeper than expected. Elena looked at him differently now. Not as a janitor, but as someone who had been overlooked. I need someone like you, she said. Rohan shook his head. I can't work long hours, he said. My daughter needs me. Elena nodded. Then we create hours that work for you. Rohan hesitated. Because this wasn't just an offer. It was a chance. A second beginning. What would I do? He asked. Lead international communications, she replied. The room fell silent again. Not from shock, but from possibility. Weeks later, Rohan sat in the same conference room. But this time, at the table. Confident. Respected. Not because of his past, but because of his value. And every evening, he still went home. To his daughter. Helping her with homework. Cooking dinner. Living simply. Because success didn't change who he was. It revealed who he had always been. And sometimes, the most extraordinary people live the most ordinary lives. Not because they lack talent, but because life asked them to sacrifice more. So next time you see someone unnoticed, remember, you might be looking at someone incredible. Someone who simply chose responsibility over recognition.